I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Gary Hoberman. He is CEO and founder at Unqork. Gary, it's wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me here, Judy. This is such a pleasure to be here.
Well, wonderful to talk with you, but before we do that, just a quick note to our viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Gary, tell me about Unqork.
So Unqork is the first ever codeless as a service platform for enabling enterprises to deliver the promise and the value of technology which has been locked and bottled up for all these years.
Okay, so why did you start this company and how did you come up with the name Unqork?
So enterprise technology is painful to create and even more painful to maintain. And when I say enterprise software, it's the applications you use day in and day out. Your banking applications, insurance applications, going into a hospital or doctor's office, interacting with your cities and states and governments. It's all enterprise software, and there's $1 trillion spent every year in those software applications. I was a Fortune 50 CIO before creating Unqork in 2017, and I had 80% of the spend, which was $9 billion a year going to technology, was on keeping the lights on, keeping things running. The other 20% of the spend was creating these new technologies which should advance all the customers' lives, improve the companies, and it was chaos. The second something went live, it was filled with all these technical debt and issues of now you actually have to maintain it, and it's the word legacy was created.
Okay.
And when you think about the value and the promise of technology, the biggest problem was a divide. The business was on one side, the technology is on the other, and they're all pointing fingers at each other. And the challenge is, how do you create software, which should be magical, is you have to bring the business and technology together. Unqork is the platform that brought both business and technology together for the first time, making a sense and resolving all the chaos that existed in the world before.
Okay, now Unqork doesn't necessarily sound like a name that correlates with what you do. How'd you come up with the name?
So we wanted to be very clear. We help enterprises and companies uncork what's great about them, unbottle what's great. As a Fortune 50 CIO, I witnessed how great companies can be and how stuck in the ways they were. And we definitely, when we named the company, we disappointed so many investors early on who we walked in and they said, wait, you're enterprise tech? wait, aren't you consumer goods, wine? Isn't there like something you're going to bring in and sample?
Where's your wine?
And we were definitely not. We're very core in our mission, which is help out enterprises deliver software.
Okay, all right, so Gary, tell me, what makes codeless architecture different from traditional software development, and why is it important?
So first and foremost, we help our customers deliver software faster, better, cheaper. Most importantly, we help them achieve the value they set out to by freeing them of this complexity. So codeless architecture, if we look back at the past year, 2.4 million hours were saved where engineers were using Unqork instead of coding in technologies which are ancient Greek. And in reality, when you think about what it achieved, there was $1 billion of savings achieved in these organizations. But when we think about codeless architecture, first, there's no code generated. And the word code, for someone who doesn't program or could speak to computers, code is like ancient Greek. It's what's powering all the technology we're around here today, from the screen to the New York Stock Exchange. And when we say codeless architecture, no code allowed, no code generated. And what it basically means is that an engineer solves a problem by assembling building blocks into a solution which delivers that value from there, while the business could not just participate in the creation instead of meeting 10 minutes a day, but they could actually help not just create but maintain the software. So business and technology working side by side to create the most complex and advanced software there is. Most importantly, when you do that, there's no technical debt created. There's no legacy created. It's a future where whatever's running within codeless as a service platform, it's going to be adopted automatically to whatever the future might bring, from devices to tablets to whatever the holographic devices that might come.
Okay, and tell me, who are your customers? Who's using Unqork?
So when we think about our users and customers, it's businesses and business leaders that want to get to market faster with their ideas. It's engineers that want to spend their time focusing on those core differentiators for their companies versus moving a button around the screen, which is what they're doing today. It's CIOs who want to basically provide a control center to see across their organization security, reliability, performance, all the things that are important to them to get back an ROI, return on investment, something I could assure you is not being achieved today. It's partners who are launching products and startups, which is really exciting when we announced some startups that are built entirely on Unqork. So going back, we had our 5th year anniversary a month ago. And it's the 5th year since we opened payroll, November 2017. We had our first Unqork conference in New York City, where 500 customers came together. On the stage, if you listen to the customers speaking, the Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the Chubb, State Street, BlackRock, what you actually hear is business and IT sitting side by side, talking about for the first time the value of technology achieved. And that's just financial services and insurance. Then public sector. Federal government now signed us. We have cities and states. If you got married in New York City, it was through Unqork. And everything that we've been doing in public sector is also Unqork. We have customers in healthcare. We have the payer side, the provider side. We have life sciences. It's a platform for solving problems. And I always felt technology is magical. The platform allows you to just dream up what you'd like to build and achieve it. And most importantly, it's the engineers creating that software with their customers. A lot of times the business that says, can you create this? And technology says, no. We don't have the budget, we don't have the bandwidth, we're focusing on all these other issues here. For the first time, the technology can say yes, using Unqork.
All right, well, Gary, it's been wonderful to talk with you and wonderful to learn about Unqork. And are you sure there's no wine?
We could bring some in, Judy, if we want to. Yeah.
Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thank you so much, Judy, for having me. Awesome.